Escape from Tarkov's closed beta is just around the corner, and there's a lot of people that are getting their hands on the alpha or patiently waiting for the game to release. I already have a lot of videos on my channel showcasing some firefights and how the game is played, but today I'm going to be giving you guys some tips to help you new players discover Tarkov and maybe get the edge on your opponents whenever the new wave of players comes in. So let's get started. Tip number one is going to be focusing on the trading system. Whenever you get Escape from Tarkov, you have access to a lot of different traders, and it can be overwhelming to know which traders have what and which trader you should be focusing on first. Mind you, you could be picking and choosing and slowly working on the reputation of each trader to unlock cooler supplies, but you really gotta focus and pay attention to one particular trader to really ramp it up and level them up as fast as possible. So you're probably wondering, what trader should I be focusing on when I first install the game? And in my opinion, other people might have a different opinion than me, but in my opinion, you should be focusing on Skier, also known as Pusher, also known as Christmas Putin. In the current state of the game, you can buy some attachments, some shotgun barrels, and a large variety of shotguns from Skier at level 1. But at level 2, you'll be able to buy the soft armor vest, the P.A.K.A., and also a Kiver helmet, which is one of the most important tools in Tarkov. You'll be finding that you'll get one-shot headshotted by the Scavs, like auto-aim style, all the time. So getting access to the Kiver helmets is pretty critical to your survival. The soft armor at level 2 does an okay job at taking some shots, but it's not as good as the defender armor, which is unlocked at level 3, which is probably the best item in Escape from Tarkov. And I'm actually going to say it, I don't think I've ever seen an item so overpowered in any shooter video game than the defender armor kit. So if you don't have access to the defender or the Kiver as soon as possible, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage. And trust me, if you don't know why, just play the game for a couple hours and you'll probably have a few frustrating moments you shooting this guy 5 or 6 times with a shotgun to the chest, and the dude is absolutely fine. It needs some work, it needs to be nerfed, but in the current state of the game, you gotta go for it. So that's what you need to be focusing on obtaining first. Alright, tip number 2, let's talk about the Scav mode. So Scav allows you to join a pre-existing game as a scavenger to loot around, kill the PMCs, and clean up some of the loot that is being left behind and try to escape. All of the loot that you actually have on your scavenger, you can save to your stash, so it's actually very valuable. Now, you'll probably be really interested to jump on the factory as your scav right away and just try to kill as many people as possible and maybe die like a crazy lunatic. And that's really fun to do, but you gotta remember that there's a cooldown on your scav mode, so you can't be constantly running it over and over and over again. So you have to think strategically on what you want to do with your scav in order to maximize its efficiency. I mean, or just have fun with it, but I'm gonna give you some idea of what you should consider doing in your scav game mode first. One thing that you need eventually is called the factory key. This key will allow you to access the 2 escapes in the factory game and also have access to a door on the customs map, which will give you easier access to the exits. So it's a very valuable key. And you can find it sometimes in the dorms, level 1 in one of the dorms inside one of the offices. It's going to be laying next to a filing cabinet. So if you use your scav mode, work your way to the dorms, you can easily get in there, loot the key, and get off the map. Another important thing to know about the scavenger mode is if you do not shoot the other scavs, they will not shoot you, which makes the game incredibly easy, and it gives you a certain level of freedom. So I would suggest only shoot the scavengers if you have a clear escape, or that scav has a crazy loadout, like for example like an SKS Kiver Defender, and you want access to it and you know you can try to make that escape, because the moment you shoot that scav, everyone's going to turn on you and try to kill you. So it's important to try to pick and choose when you fight the scavs and when you shouldn't. So I typically don't shoot the scavs at all, just to kind of keep it easier, because if another, let's say for example, another PMC or another player scavenger shoots you, you now have 4 or 5 aimbot AI that are on your side, ready to fight and kick some ass. So it's a great distraction, or those guys can easily kill the enemies that are trying to kill you. So choose your scavenger mode correctly. But another good thing too with the scav mode is running woods. If you run the woods and you start around the lumber yard or at some of the cabins, you can actually go to a trailer, a wooden trailer that's in the middle of the woods rather easily, because there's scavs located all over the place, and you can pick up an AK-74N from the weapon rack and a large variety of attachments that are sitting on a table inside, and you can grab those. They have immense value, and then just rush out. And it's just that simple. A lot of the time you won't even encounter another player, because either people are going to be focusing on killing the other PMCs at the very beginning of the map, or people are going to be just focusing on not getting tagged by the AI while they try to escape. You'll be able to hear the gunshots cracking off in the woods, and that always is a sign of a player. So just keep that in mind. Tip number 3 is going to be surrounding how to defeat armor in Escape from Tarkov. So I've already mentioned that the Defender and Kiver setup is very overpowered, and even if you have the best assault rifle in the game or some of the best weapons, you will likely not be able to take out the target unless you know exactly where to aim. Your goal isn't even to shoot for the head in Escape from Tarkov against an armored target. It's actually going for the legs, because shooting the legs is completely soft, there's no armor there, and you can kill an opponent simply by shooting their legs. It also cripples your opponent and limits their movement, forcing them to use medication to resolve their issue. And in some cases where a player picks up a defender or a kiver, let's say as a scav or as somebody with like a Makarov or shotgun, they may not have the medical supplies to deal with the problem and succumb to their wounds. You'll quickly find that in Tarkov there's almost very little time to make the maneuver to shoot and aim for the legs, but just do your best. It's your only hope against armored targets at the very beginning of the game. Alright, tip number 4 is going to be focusing on selling loot and inventory management. Some of you guys might already know this if you have access to the game, but for some of you newbies out there, this is a really awesome tip to help you maximize your cash flow whenever you're doing your raids. You can put vests inside of backpacks loaded with supplies to save inventory space, and you can also put other backpacks inside of backpacks as well, so you can sell them to skier and pusher to maximize your efficiency while doing your raids. So don't forget to put your scav vest inside the backpack if you're killing a bunch of scavengers, because they can sell, or you can use them if you want to run an AK-74 or a weapon that requires magazines, because in Escape from Tarkov, the R key only works if the magazines are inside of your vest or your pockets. So just keep that in mind. Vests are actually very valuable in the game. So having a large amount of them at your fingertips will help you run more efficiently, but also being able to put items inside of backpacks can save you not only space in your stash, but again, increase the amount of loot that you can take from your enemies during raids. Alright, the last tip is going to be about the scavengers and how to defeat them as somebody only with a melee weapon or very limited supplies. Scavs right now are pretty much aimbot whenever you're directly in front of them. It can be very difficult, and on maps like the factory, even 20 yards away, they can snap shoot you, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It will be changed in the future, and that's just the way it is, but the difficulty is there, and sometimes it can actually be pretty entertaining too, to have AI enemies that can just absolutely destroy you. It's actually a good thing that we fear the scavs rather than have them too easy. But the more you fight them, the more you figure out their movement, and you can kind of exploit them a little bit. So one tip that you can use against fighting the scavs is if you're running from left to right in full sprint, and the AI will have a very difficult time landing shots on you. And what you can do if you're only armed with a melee weapon is wait for the AI to unload all of the magazine and all the ammo they have, and then move in for a swift melee kill, hoover the loot, maybe grab a gun or two, use that gun against some other scavs and other people, and rinse and repeat. It's probably one of the most efficient ways of actually killing the scavs. Another strategy, but this is a little hit and miss, is trying to actually get the scav to get so close to you that it is a difficult time acquiring the target, and it's kind of looking all over the place, and you might actually clip inside of it, giving you an opportunity to get a very easy headshot. One thing I do on the factory is I almost run full sprint when I'm using a melee weapon, specifically looking for scavengers to try to get a quick headshot in to steal the loot, use the loot, and actually just kill people. It's just rinse and repeat. It's like the Daisy-esque way of playing the game. Some people don't like it. I find it highly entertaining, and it's something that you're probably going to be doing a lot as a new player to Escape from Tarkov. So get the tomahawk. Practice running around the scavs, getting used to their aiming patterns, and try to get them to waste as much ammo as possible before moving in for the kill. Well guys, I hope you found this video useful, and to everybody getting access to the closed beta in the next couple weeks, I hope to see you guys in the game and in the live streams. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe here for more Escape from Tarkov content, DayZ, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and other survival shooters. I also run a daily live stream, twitch.tv/deadlyslob, every single morning at 8:30 a.m. and Sundays at noon. I hope to see you guys there. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.